Backtesting is the biggest bunch of horse shit I've ever heard of in my life. I don't think you should be trading without RSI. No, fuck off. Either the price has to come down or the RSI has to go up. Most women just want to sit at home and have their nails done. Most traders are fucking nerds. I'm shocked by the number of female traders coming into our community.
Really?
Women are the hunters today. If you are dumb enough to hand over your money without doing due diligence, that's on you. I'm having one of those conflict of the heart moments today. As someone who has escaped poverty, I am passionate about helping other people do the same by sharing my experiences and my journey. But fuck, some of you guys make it difficult. Most of you watching my videos have no idea the shit that I stomach on a daily basis to reach the small percentage of you that actually want the help and are willing to put in the effort. On a daily basis, I'm berated, insulted, called a scammer by people who are filled with anger, self-doubt, and self-loathing. And I get it, I really do. At every corner, someone is trying to sell you a dream. Someone is trying to sell you some bullshit scam. And it's knowing this that keeps me from posting, trying to be as transparent as I possibly can without putting myself and those close to me at risk. At times, I feel like the James Bond of social media, constantly on this clandestine mission to help others while staying under the radar. And if I'm not up against public opinion, I'm up against the social media networks, I'm up against the industry gatekeepers, and worst of all, I'm up against the scammers who are impersonating me and trying to scam people who are gullible out of their hard-earned money. It's almost a no-win situation. To make matters worse, the Forex space is littered with bad players and more bullshit than you can wave a stick at. And for some insane reason, the universe has put me here right now in this moment to make a difference and to show people there is a way out of slavery. But the question is, at what cost? I've conquered my poverty. I'm a highly proficient investor. I love trading. I love making money, and I'm making more money than most people can dream of. All my life, I have worked and I've elevated myself to avoid negative, small-minded people. I've focused on growth and self-development, and I am where I am in life because I did the fucking work and I sacrificed everything to be the man I am today. Social media is nothing but a distraction to me, but I cannot help sharing. It's this almost maniacal obsession to try and help others. But the truth be told, I'm getting tired, and my tolerance for stupidity is waning. I cannot feel empathy for those who do not at least try to elevate themselves. Maybe I should be that guy. The guy who posts about all his material shit. Maybe I should elevate my Instagram profile to make everybody else feel inferior. I never, ever, ever understood why wealthy people make their money and depart from society. But I now do. I really do. Because most people just love to try and keep everybody else down by pulling others back into the same bucket. So guys, I've decided to take on a social experiment to see if my community will stand with me. If they will protect and stand for the person that is trying to help them, the person that is looking out for them. If you are part of the Money Tribe, if you're a long-standing follower of mine, and if me and my partners have had an impact on your life, either indirectly or directly through what we teach and share, now is your time to stand up. I want to see you in the comment section. Show the world what we know. Show the world what we are doing behind closed doors. Talk about the stuff that we're impacting your life with. I am done with the comment section. If the court of public opinion does not deal with the naysayers and the haters in my comment section, then it is time for me to move on. Money Tribe, I give you the greatest gift I could ever give you. Reciprocity. The comment section is now yours, and my fate is in your hands.
So many people, so many Money Tribers came out to support you, and they didn't just leave a one-liner. There were paragraphs. I've never seen anything like that on any of your socials. What was the reason behind that video?
I have been at an inflection point with social media. I, despite what people think, do not actually like being on social media. I'm actually a very private individual, and I'm doing this because I genuinely want to help people. There are people out there who just need to hear a message that might not be what they want to hear, but it's what they need to hear. And for the last 5 years on social media, I've been trying to break through to those people. And this last while just really got to me. It got to me because stuff has happened to me offline that has impacted what I'm doing and saying online. So I've had people walking up to me in public, saying very rude things to me, because they believe that I'm scamming them and investing money on their behalf, and it's actually people impersonating me. And I just got to a point, and I was like, is the juice worth the squeeze? And I was almost at a point where I wanted to just go and run and hide under a rock, if I'm completely honest. Because it is pretty hectic to be accused of things that you are not guilty of, right? I've had people come to me and say to me, they show me conversations they think they're having with me, and they've invested pensions with these people. They've invested their last savings. And no matter how much I tell them that's not me, they believe it's me because it's my picture and they think it's me. And so that was the one part. And the other part is just there's so much ugliness in the Forex industry. Like, I don't know what it is about the Forex industry. I totally understand the general public being skeptical and, thinking it's a scam, and because of everything that's historically in the industry. And I have to try and break through that. And I accepted that the moment I started talking about Forex. What I wasn't prepared for was the ugliness. There's a lot of competitors who've tried to take my systems down. There's a lot of competitors who've personally attacked me. They create fake profiles and they come and say shit on my social media. And so there's two things that are really very negative about what I'm doing to try and help people. But I put out a post on social media, very publicly talking about how I feel. And I was just completely overwhelmed by my Money Tribe community response. I've always wanted to have an impact on people, and I always deeply try and have a positive impact on people, but you don't really know that you're having the impact because a lot of people don't talk up about it until they're asked to, because most people are just trying to get through their own lives and trying to figure their own shit out. But I really had an outpouring of just positivity and love and support for what I'm doing, and that just lit a fire under my ass. And I now am officially on social media to agitate the shit out of everyone, because I realized something. To get to the 1% that truly want change, I've got to get through the 90% of people who are just naysayers and haters and trolls and sitting in their parents' basement with nothing going on in their lives. I've got to get through those people to reach the 1%. And I have to go stronger, I have to go harder, I have to go bigger than I've ever gone before. And I'm going to light social media on fire.
Do you think it's a little bit of ignorance? Because I do know there's a few people that came to you and said, listen, you scammed me, and you continued this conversation, but with facts, and you showed them that, listen, this isn't me.
I think it's hard for somebody to accept when they're at fault. I think if you've been dumb enough to hand over your money without doing due diligence, I think it's hard to accept that you were the idiot. And it's easy to try and blame somebody else. I mean, somebody with half a brain will figure out that if you on a profile that's only got 5,000 followers of mine on TikTok, that's not my profile. If it's Money Tribes 21, it's probably not my profile. Like, anyone with half a brain will do a check. And this is why I put the blame squarely on the individual. If you are dumb enough to hand over your money without doing due diligence, that's on you. That's on you. What I find difficult, and this is where money becomes emotional. If somebody has lost a considerable amount of money, thrown their whole pension in, what they will do in reality is based on emotions and not based on logic and reality, right? And so I now have to take my safety very seriously, purely because there are people out there impersonating me, and there are people out there that are dumb enough not to do their fact checking. But it's okay. I'm prepared to pay this price. If it means that's the price I have to pay to get through to the 1% that truly need my message, we'll just sort out the problems around us and we'll figure it out. There'll be some very fucking big oaks on my shoulder, and the first oak who steps out of line will be put back in line.
How easy it must be for governments to control us, actually, because we get given a set of rules at birth, and then we just follow those same rules without thinking, without blinking, and then take our pensions and just give it away.
The basic human being does not have free thinking, does not possess the ability to think freely. Everything they've been exposed from the time they came out of their mother's womb has been an indoctrination. The education system, what we eat, what we consume, what we watch, what we listen to, who we listen to. It's an indoctrination. And I try not to use the term matrix because it's been over-popularized by a younger culture, but we have been put into a system of slavery. It is a system of, first and foremost, mental slavery, secondly, financial slavery. And the thing that I'm trying to give people back is financial freedom. Because when you get financial freedom and you can go anywhere, say anything, do what you want to do without the fear of, hey, whatever I do and say is attached to my income, it changes who you become as a human being. And I believe that the only way to be free is to figure out the money part. Once you figure out the money part, then you can start being free. Because at the moment, people are stomaching shit that they don't have to stomach purely because they're doing it for an income, right? And so for me, this is a very deep, multifaceted thing. But really, if people ask me, what is the money tribe about? Yes, we're teaching how to make money. Yes, we're teaching how to hold on to that money. Yes, we're teaching all the stuff around investing. But actually what it's about giving people freedom. It's about teaching people how to think freely and to act freely. And I cannot feel sorry for the 90% of people who choose to remain slaves. And so my message is no longer for the 90%. I used to put my messaging out and think, how can I capture the broadest audience? This is why I did the petrol price videos, the electricity videos. I did this because I wanted to speak to the broadest possible audience. Now, 90% of people shall hate me. They shall hate me because I'm going to speak a truth that is going to be in conflict with everything they believe and everything they know. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay because up until now, I have, for a lack of a better term, I've been dumbing down my message and playing nice so as not to offend everybody. But you know what? There's a whole bunch of people that need to be offended. For me to reach that 1% that's truly going to take on change, that's truly going to graduate to the higher levels of spirituality, being financially free, being physically free, I have to go through a whole bunch of naysayers. I've got to go through a whole bunch of haters. I've got to go through a whole bunch of people that are totally indoctrinated in the very thing that is enslaving them.
Do you think that financial stability is a key factor in building a successful, functional family unit?
People will argue with me on this. I don't believe you can build a successful family unit without money. This today, in the era that we live in, having money is like having vegetables in your garden. Having money is like having water in a storage tank to provide drinking water for your family. And we now live in a society and a model where we no longer produce our own food. So we need the money that gets the food. And I don't believe you can be a fully functional family if you don't have financial stability. It is essential if you want to have a proper, functioning, successful family, that you don't have debt, that you do have savings, that you do have income that comes at you without you having to go out and do the work to get the money. You need to start working and thinking towards passive forms of income, because ultimately, otherwise you're a slave. Mom and dad today, for the most part, are out 9-10 hours a day trying to figure out how to get some food, paper, money, to provide the food, and the children are being left to a system which is completely screwing with the natural order of who we are as human beings. We're having the weakest members of society raise our children, the most indoctrinated members of society raising our children. And so that's the template that our children are following. And it's no surprise to me that the average family is now finding themselves in conflict with their children and between age groups. Because why? We've removed the matriarchy and patriarchy out of the system. And we've handed over the very thing that we're responsible for as individuals, the sovereignty over our family. And we absolutely have to have financial stability if we want to succeed.
And as a result of that, you find a lot of women trading Forex.
I'm shocked by the number of female traders coming into our community.
Really?
I didn't see it coming. And what this tells me is two things. Men have lost their fucking balls. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't trade. I'm just saying it's completely bizarre to me that the women are the hunters today. This is not natural. I respect every woman immensely who has to provide for herself, provide for herself and her kids because her husband doesn't have the balls to get up and go and fetch. I have enormous respect, but there's something wrong in that picture. And I know most people are not going to like what I'm saying. Most women just want to sit at home and have their nails done.
Yeah, but we've been indoctrinated that it's a prize if you are a career woman, if you're making your own money.
I respect anybody, regardless of race, age, gender, religion, who succeeds in business, if it's a choice.
Yes.
A lot of people are not there by choice. They are there out of necessity. It's a system that has been enforced on us because now there are 2 taxpayers in the house. This problem is deep. This problem is very deep. And you just have to go look at the Americanization of everything that has caused these problems. We're talking about gender roles. We're talking about ageism. We're talking about sexism. We're talking about every ism there is. Comes back to this elite political agenda to screw with the natural order of the home. And my dream is to hand that back to families. That's why, and it's actually not a surprise to me that I have a huge contingency of Muslim followers. I have a huge contingency of single mom followers because my message resonates with them because they know deep down what I'm saying is true. I'm not anti-feminism. I'm actually pro-woman. I'm not anti-men having an alternative path in life, but I am pro-matriarchy and patriarchy. And I think that's okay.
We believe in the traditional family unit.
Listen, I've got nothing against anybody who doesn't share the same value system as me. But 2 women can't make a baby, and 2 men can't make a baby. It's really fucking simple. It's really fucking simple. And so for our species to continue, we have to mate.
The scary thing is some people will argue with you, Margaret.
That's their choice. You can argue it. It doesn't distort.
It's not a fact.
It doesn't distort reality. I've got a lot of the correct term I've been told is gay women and gay men who follow me, who fundamentally agree with what I say, right? This is not a question of I'm anti this to be pro that. I'm pro human beings. I'm pro family structure. I'm pro people having good values and not drinking and doing drugs and abusing their children. That's what I'm pro.
So Eddie from the Money Tribe, hi Eddie, he asked a question sort of related to this. In terms of women that aren't doing Forex, for example, but want to look into online work, what advice would I share? But I mean, you can also share some opinions. But I'm answering this so that in 10 years' time it would be relevant, because I can't say go to this platform and apply for a job here. I think it would be most important to look at what your strongest skills are and dig down to your niche skills, because you want to be competitive, and then go over to the internet or YouTube, find what works for you. But before you commit to anything, check all the reviews, because that's again another space where scamming is so prevalent. Just like Forex, anything online can be scammable. So I would say when you find that thing that you can actually enjoy, go and make sure you look at a lot of reviews and make sure you're not being scammed, because there's a lot of stories of people saying, I had to pay to apply. That's not legitimate. Anything you've got to pay to apply for isn't legitimate. And don't look at one review. Look at hundreds of reviews before you make a commitment to working online. But I can't give you a fixed answer, like just do typing or just do teaching online English or translating. It depends on your skills.
I mean, we're in such an evolving world, and I would give the same answer to a mom as I would to a dad, as I would to a female, as I would to a male. You want to do something that makes the most amount of money, that requires the least amount of time out of the house. And the reason why I say this, even if you're earning $1 million a month, but you're away 24 hours a day from your family, that doesn't give you a chance to raise your family, right? So if the mother, as the matriarch of the home, is going to figure out how to bring money into the house, bring money into the house, but don't do it at the expense of leaving your children behind.
Well, I have a very different scenario there, and I don't know if you can agree with this.
Okay.
But I thought about this, and if I had to answer that from a housewife's point of view, I would say for a housewife, you shouldn't take an online job. You actually shouldn't work if you've committed to raising your kids, right? If your kids are at home with you.
I don't agree.
But let me finish.
Okay.
I would do this. I would, if I met you and I know that we're going to get married, I'd say to you, listen, if we're going to get married and have kids, I'm going to save up my salary for the next few years, put in an investment because I'm preparing to be a wife and a mother. And so that's going to be working for me. And you can add to it. We can agree that maybe you add to it so my investments grow and I don't have a lack of independence financially. But if you're not raising kids, it's different. I feel like you don't have a responsibility to be home and nurture your family. So you can obviously go out and get a job, but you tell me your opinion.
So I don't think just because you're a mother, you should completely give up your career aspirations. And there's a lot of different career aspirations. I think as a housewife and a mother, you automatically become a supporting role to probably your husband and to probably your children. I still think it is essential to carve out financial freedom. And even if that is just doing something that gives you a little bit of money on the side to build up something for yourself. I think it goes even beyond that. I think as a couple, you should discuss things like a life policy. Everybody thinks about taking out a life policy for the primary earner. But truth is, if you had to die tomorrow, I have to replace you with a very, very good-looking Russian or Czechoslovakian woman, right? The role that you fulfill in our house is huge.
That can cook and make sandwiches.
You get what I'm saying. A man should still know how to provide in the home, not just financially. Should know how to make a bed. Should know how to be able to cook and clean a little, right? I don't think there's any harm in that. That's why guys from boarding school generally tend to do a lot better in life, right? They know how to do the basics. They haven't been mommied. And then on the flip side of that, I think women should have some level of financial responsibility. Now, that can come in many different ways. I think it could be like in our case, you take care of the family's money, or it could be you earning some of your own money on the side. I think these are all good things. I think purely to say you should be a mom and a mom only in 2024, I think is a mistake. I think you can be a great mom and you can also have a little bit of your own thing at the same time. I think you can be a fantastic provider as a father and you can still have enough time to put into the family. I think these are the balancing acts, and just when you dial to one side completely, I think that's also unhealthy, because what was relevant 50 years ago is not relevant today. But I still come back to, I firmly believe in the primary patriarchy and matriarchy system in the home.
What I'm saying is, in 2024, I think some women actually want to be home and not be judged.
A lot of them.
And not be judged for saying, listen, I just want to be a housewife and I don't want to earn any money. And I'm talking for those women.
Can
right?
I tell you how many women come to me in my DMs and say to me, all I want is a man to take care of me. And by the way, they're often single, very strong individual females who've been leading careers for 25 years, right? And I don't know if it's because their fertile regions have dried up or whatever the hell is going on, but they come to me and they say, I wish I had this level of thinking 20 years ago. I would have done things differently. So we can argue societal values all we like, and people need to do what's right for them. I can only live through the example that makes sense to me. And by the way, that was not an example that was handed to me, because my family was completely dysfunctional, right? Your family was also quite inverse. Your mom was the primary breadwinner, right? So we've come from inverted models and inverse models. I just know that there is something that feels very natural about a man doing his work, grabbing his balls, and figuring out how to earn an income and taking care of his wife and his family. But I still believe that I want a wife, and I say this firmly, I want a wife who has her brain switched on, right? Beyond simply baking cakes.
I agree with you. I'm just saying society is such now that there's such an imbalance, right? Women are becoming the breadwinners, and once they hit that point and they feel like what you said, after 25 years of working, I actually want to be home and be with my kids and just be a housewife, they automatically, society is going to say, well,
no, the word they use is I'm tired.
I'm tired. But society says you're not valuable anymore because you're not bringing money in. And my point of view is we shouldn't be shaming women for saying, I just want to be a housewife.
Can I tell you who we should shame? Can I tell you who we should shame?
The men.
The men with no balls. That's who we should shame. You as a man should be ashamed. And I'll say this publicly. You should be ashamed if your wife has to go out and work. Now, I understand as a couple, if we went through crap, we would have to pull together.
Yeah, we'd have to.
And we'd have to figure it out. But if you as a man just get to a point where you accept my wife must provide equally to me, and she must also take care of the home. This is not right. You've been raised to believe that all is equal, and all is not equal. Men have a responsibility to protect. Men have a responsibility to provide. Men have a responsibility to, most importantly, provide an environment for their wives and their children to flourish. When we've gone through crap in our lives, in my businesses, in my journey, I've shielded my family from it. Not because I'm hiding things from you, because I want you to flourish, right?
Not to stress us out.
I always tell you at some point when it's important, right? But here's the point I'm making. There is a whole bunch of beta males out there who've been raised by their mommies, who've been told that, you know what, the woman you marry is going to take over my responsibility as a mom and be a mommy to you. You're not a mommy to me, you're a partner. And my job is to provide. My job is to make sure you're taken care of. My job is to make sure you're protected. My job is to make sure that you have everything you need. That is my job.
I agree with you 100%. And I hope any woman listening to us that's contemplating this actually feels like there are people that agree with you and don't feel ashamed.
My babe, any woman who disagrees with me is a vile, bitter, narcissistic individual who's never been loved. Most women, the natural setting is you just want to be cared for. Who doesn't want to be treated like a queen?
I don't know.
I mean,
but to be honest, I think when you say it like that, it's different. Most of us have been programmed to think it's weakness. If you're not earning your own money, it's weak. And I understand that, because tomorrow you could find some Russian chick that you said, the Russian chick could be here, and you'd say, I think her sandwiches are better, and you'd be gone. And then I'd be homeless, without an income, etc. So I get that.
I'll tell you a wonderful story while we're on this point. And this speaks to the relationship dynamics of men and women, right? And I relate this to owning a dog. In this example, men are dogs, okay?
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't assume anything else.
If you don't feed your dog, if you don't provide for your dog, if you don't shelter your dog, and it jumps the fence, whose fault is it that the dog jumped the fence?
My fault.
Thank you very much. So women, take some responsibility. If you have a man who's caring for you, if you're a man who is doing the right things, look after them. And I will tell you, I'm nothing without you. I am nothing without you. I'm okay saying that. I'm but a shadow of who I actually am in terms of my potential without you. It takes two strong people to come together to create one strong unit. And men need to accept that they're not all that. It's not the male ego is like, I do everything on my own. No, I can do nothing without you. You provide my emotional stability. You provide the environment for me to flourish. You're the soil that allows me to grow.
I love that. You're so poetic today.
I know. But the point I'm making is we need to accept that we are stronger together.
Absolutely. And you know, remember the conversation we had? You said to me, listen, because this is where we were initially. I was going on my journey and he was going on his journey. And that was before our kids came along. And he said, why don't we just combine our powers and you join me on
and be one supervillain.
Yes, and be one supervillain. This is what happened. And it was that conversation, I mean, before the birth of our kids, that made a lot of sense to us, because we thought about it and we had to plan, like, what am I going to do when the kids come around? And still, even today, I do work, but it's super flexible for me. And my family is my priority.
What we've got going on here is reverse colonialism. I'm the slave and you're the slave master.
You said it, not me. Okay, back to trading. Let's get serious again. I'm an average person and I figure out trading and I start making money. There are three options that are available to me in my mind. Maybe there's another.
Can I just correct you quickly?
Okay.
If you figure out trading, you're not average.
Okay, but I'm talking
If you figure out trading and you become profitable, you have officially put yourself in the highest order of human beings. And I'll tell you why. To become successful at trading, you need to figure out your shit.
But the context of it, I'm an average person. I put in the work. I join the
So
money
now you're
tribe.
no longer average.
But now I'm no longer average because I'm making money, right?
You're no longer average. Let's just be clear. Those who make money out of Forex are not average
anymore.
The average person is losing money.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so now I'm no longer average. And the three choices that I believe I would have now are, let me spend it. Because, I mean, I never had a Lamborghini and I really want one. Number two, let me build on this money because, like, I don't want to be poor again. Or number three, a combination of both. So what would you say I should do? Because I know what I would do, but you...
Okay, you know what you would do. You'd be buying face cream.
No, I wouldn't. I would buy... Okay, so I would do number three, a bit of both.
Oh, no. Initially, buy a shitload of face cream, right?
It's called a bit of both. I would buy face cream and build on the rest.
Okay.
Cream, rest.
Now, let me ask you, you've seen me personally making money. What am I doing?
You're not touching it.
Why?
Because you're a builder. Bob the builder.
I'm a builder, right? And so everybody's asking me, where's your Lambo? Show us your money. I'll show you where my money is. It's in my fucking bank account. It's in my trading account. It's compounding. I'm building. I'm building so that when I get to that top echelon, to that top level, I'm going to be able to say fuck you properly. I don't want to get there halfway and just have a pair of new sneakers and a new car. I want fuck you generational money. I want fuck you and the next 7 generations money, right? So I'm a builder, yes. So I can't answer this question on behalf of other people. Everybody's going to do what everybody's going to do. I can only hope that the lessons I impart inside the Money Tribe, it will find some resonance with people, because here is ultimately what I believe. I believe that you should buy your way out of freedom, that you never look back. Now, I've been free since the age of 31, but the level of freedom I'm striving for is totally different to what I've been striving for the last 20 years of my life. I now have a very, very big mission and a very big goal. And people will see this unfold in my journey over the next couple of years. And believe me, now that I'm there to agitate the 90% of people on social media, I'm definitely going to do some shit that's going to rub people up the wrong way. And I'm definitely going to use my money for the kind of good that most people can't even contemplate, right? And it's going to drive people wild. But I'm compounding and I'm building. And when I feel I can let go of those reins, I will let go properly, because I'm an extremist. But I need to make sure that I've got everything in order. And so my advice to everybody is do this. Never withdraw your trading profits on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. Compound the shit out of your earnings for a year. Maybe take some out and put it in your bank account. Make sure you haven't all got it in your brokerage accounts, because some of my brokerage accounts are running pretty big at the moment. Take some of that money out, put it away just in case, but don't spend the money. At the end of the year, take a percentage, treat it like a job, treat it like a business, give yourself 20% of the income, and go do whatever the fuck you want with it. Go be stupid. Go buy your first LV. Go buy your first Lambo if that's what you want. Go buy your first special house that you want if that's what you want, right? But take 80% of that money and fucking build.
But I remember you saying in one of the other episodes, if you do withdraw your tax, so how do they not touch it but not withdraw it?
And that's why I'm not withdrawing.
Okay,
right?
So leave it in the broker.
So I'm leaving it in brokers. So all I do is I take my money out of my trading accounts. I put it in a broker, like a broker interest-bearing account.
Okay.
A lot of the brokers have wallets and interest-bearing accounts if you ask them for it.
All right.
And those come with bank guarantees. If you've got enough money, you can get a bank guarantee from your broker. Make sure that your money's not at risk. It's basically the money's in escrow, for a lack of better term.
Okay, that's interesting. So that's another factor I would consider when I'm choosing a broker, because that's quite a key thing.
Well, I say this again, and I said it at the event recently to the brokers. Like, I want to know where the broker, the main oaks, the management's kids go to school. The day that I don't get my money, I'm picking the kids up from school.
Do you think people are secretive about being traders? Because I know a few people, and you know a few people that, like, we know they're trading. Like also public figures, they look successful, they tell you they have a business, but they're actually successful because they are trading. Why are people so secretive? Why don't they just say, yeah, I trade, that's where I get my money from?
I think there's 2 reasons. In fact, I think there's 3.
Oh.
People always ask you, what do you do? It's a common question you meet people the first time. And I got to a point telling people I'm a proctologist, which for those that don't know is an arsehole doctor.
But then we moved to industrialist.
Because bullshit baffles
no one
brains.
knows what that
because
is.
Because I didn't want people to ask for help. So when you say I'm in computers, I say, can you fix my cell phone, right?
Okay.
So I used to say I'm a proctologist because nobody wants me to check their arsehole, right? It's pretty safe. I think people don't always answer truthfully that they're traders, because if you tell someone you're a trader, everybody wants to become a trader, right? And that's quite fucking annoying.
That kills the conversation.
That's quite annoying,
Okay.
right? The second reason is I think there is such a stigma to this industry that if you're actually genuinely making money through trading, you must be scamming people, because the indoctrination that we have as a society is when we see somebody in an expensive car, living in an expensive house, living a lavish life,
Drug dealer.
the thing we assume is they must be taking, stealing, doing somebody out of their money for them to be successful. And look, in a lot of instances, it's true, especially here on this rock called Africa that we live on, right? But for many people, they're actually just really smart and they figured something out. But our level of thinking in society is that to be successful, you must be a villain. To be in the 1%, you must be evil. To be in the 1%, you must be stealing from the 99%. So I think that's the second thing. And I think the other thing is, and this is probably something that's going to hurt a lot of traders, most traders are fucking nerds. They've got no personality. They're complete geeks. They were the kids who got bullied at school. They were the counting, mathematic, fucking spelling bee kids, right? And they're the ones who generally are very successful in trading. You don't see a lot of guys like me successful in trading. I mean, I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the trading room, right? Because I've actually lived a proper life. Most traders are fucking nerds. And even if they go take steroids and go to gym and they look like this, deep inside, they're still fucking nerds. And you know how I know? I just have to read my comment section from my competitors. They're all a bunch of fucking nerds who've had their egos bruised.
Okay. So do your trading goals change over time? From the beginning to now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like in terms of what?
When I started trading, my goal was to prove that I can do this. Once I started doing it, my goal was to make a certain amount of money.
Okay.
Once I started consistently making a certain amount of money, my goal was to prove to everybody else that I'm actually making this money, right?
Okay.
Now my goal is to not give a fuck and trade according to my own rules. And those rules are very simple, and I think these will be fundamentals for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I think this is my personal evolution. I want to make as much money with as little risk as possible. And I'm happy making less money if it means less risk.
Right.
So there are days when I might only make $3,000, $4,000 these days, and I'm totally okay with it. There were days where if I made less than $10,000 a day, I'd feel like I failed. And then there were days where I made $3,000 and I thought I'd won, right? So it's all relevant to what you're going through. I mean, when I first made my first $3,000 in a day, I mean, I thought this shit was popping, right? I thought this was amazing. But now my goal is to make the most amount of money with the least amount of risk. And that often means making less money on days where it isn't ideal to trade. Classic example today. I haven't made a lot of money. I think I've made about $2,000 for the day. And I'm okay with it. Because in my head, I'm not competing against myself anymore. I am simply trying to make the most amount of money with the least amount of risk. And some days that means you don't make a lot.
You in profit, end of story.
I'm in profit.
Thank you.
More importantly, I'm not in a loss.
Do you feel like there's a need for continuous education with trading?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think you can ever stop educating yourself. I don't think you can ever stop adding to your knowledge. I don't think you can ever take for granted that this is the way you should trade. The way I trade this year might be very different than next year. And the reason being, markets change. We're in an election year where right now, as this is being recorded, 80% of the world's countries are in an election year. Next year, everything changes and we're trading a completely different market, so we have to adjust. And that's the thing I love about trading, because fuck, everything else bores me. I get good at something in business, I do it, I master it, I conquer it, I become the best, and then I'm bored. This, I can never get arrogant. This is why I laugh at these people who come on my videos and make these stupid fucking comments, right? They speak as if they know in absolutes. You know, fuck all. You know, fuck all. Because you're talking about something in a small time frame that is relevant to you in that time frame. I don't speak in absolutes because this journey of trading is constantly evolving, constantly. Today I'm taking longer positions than I did 5 months ago, right? And next year I might be taking shorter positions. I might be changing my trading style a little bit, but adhering to the core fundamental principles of how I trade. So I'm not strategy hopping, I'm adjusting to market conditions. And market conditions are constantly evolving. So I think there is a constant need for education, and I think the one thing that every trader should have, especially you fucking nerds out there, I think you need a community, right? Just because you figured out how to make a bit of digital money on your keyboard doesn't make you fucking everything in a fucking sandwich, right? You actually need to surround yourself by a community that's going to keep you honest. Because this is what happens with youngsters and especially the nerdy types when they make money. That the guys buying Lambos, for the most part, they're all fucking nerds, right? Because they need the Lambo to fill the void, right? Okay. Go look at the Lambo drivers. We know a few of them around us here. They're fucking nerds. If I meet you in an alley, I'm going to fucking eat you for breakfast, right? But the reason why they've got the Lambo is because they're filling an inner void, okay? You need a community around you who's going to keep you true, who's going to keep you grounded, who's going to keep you honest, who's going to call you out on your bullshit.
Okay. In my mind, if I was a Forex trader, please note, I have no experience with this. I would take the money I make in Forex and put it into traditional
100%,
investments
100%.
to protect myself.
So here's my personal plan.
Okay.
End of the year, at the end of a full trading year, what I will be doing, taking 80% of the money, putting it one side, taking 20%, putting one side. 20% we're doing dumb shit with. We do whatever the fuck we want with that 20%, that I call dumb shit money, right? The remaining 80%, I'm putting 40% back into the markets to trade into the next year, right? And the remaining 40%, I'm putting into very boring fucking investments. The S&P 500, right? Buying some actual gold bullion and putting it in my vault.
Okay.
Very boring shit. Buying some REITs, real estate investment trusts.
Because that'll protect you when you're not
Because there might be a day where I can't push buttons on a keyboard anymore.
So you are a man of facts. Did you backtest your trades before?
I don't backtest.
Why?
Because I think backtesting is the biggest bunch of horse shit I've ever heard of in my life. And every nerd and every Forex nerd out there will talk about backtesting. It is utter horse shit. Now, having said that, there are some strategies that I will take over a limited range of data and figure out if the strategy could work, right? But backtesting is simply applying technical rules based on a technical market. It does not take into account the variations for real world market conditions. Someone dropped a bomb on someone there, right? Different situation than here where nobody dropped a bomb on nobody. So backtesting, I don't believe in backtesting strategies. I believe in forward testing strategies. And this is what I personally do. I open up a $100 account, a live account with real money. I don't use demo money, and I test my strategies because it gives me a real haptic feedback on my strategy, and it forces me to fix it and improve it and tweak it and find out where the problems are. Backtesting is this terrible scourge that has entered into the Forex space where people go, well, I backtested the strategy for X, Y, and Z, and it works. Put that thing into forward testing and it doesn't work. Why? We're trading different market conditions. Now, there are certain rule sets that you can backtest. I'll give you a great example is RSI. You can test RSI levels, right? But if you test an RSI strategy against different other elements, other technical elements in the market that are dependent on real world market conditions, you're not always going to get an accurate result out.
Okay, so now to clear my confusion, backtesting normally is done based on technicals, right?
Yes.
So when someone backtests, they don't actually look at the news of the day.
And these are traders who specifically focus on only technical trading. I'll tell you where backtesting became a big thing is with the bot sellers, because the bot sellers are programming their systems primarily on technical elements, right? There are some that have some fundamental elements, but the majority are technical elements. And I know this is going to piss everybody off in the industry when I say this, but there is no substitute for running the actual fucking race. You can run on a treadmill all the time and test your speed, but you need to go run in the fucking actual race. You go and backtest the strategy. doesn't mean you've got the discipline to apply the strategy correctly in the real world market conditions.
Under that pressure.
I don't believe in backtesting. I've never backtested in my life. What I do is I go back in historical data, I look for anomalies and consistencies of pattern, and I develop strategies based on that. But I never take something and backtest it. I'll look at the data backward to develop a strategy, but I forward test my strategies.
And those patterns don't have to do anything with fundamentals like the news on the day or the markets. Those patterns.
No, and if there's an anomaly, I need to find out why.
If you want to become the best version of yourself and achieve financial freedom, join Money Tribe 21 and be part of a like-minded community. Not only will you have access to Justin Harrison's highly acclaimed Forex course, you will also join hundreds of people who have changed their lives through groundbreaking business, investing in personal development content. Share your progress and have all your questions answered in real time on the Money Tribe app, where members have direct access to the Money Tribe team.
Join the Money Tribe will be the best thing that you've ever done. I've not had a negative day yet.
Double my demo account.
It's practical. Let's keep making profits and making money.
Incredibly well structured.
This is the best investment that you will ever make in yourself.
Don't think about it. Just it's worth it.
Visit moneytribe21.com for more.
What is RSI in trading?
RSI is Relative Strength Index, and the best way to think of Relative Strength Index is a historical representation of order flow.
Okay, what's order flow?
It's basically telling you the amount of volume coming into the market in terms of buying parity versus selling parity. But it is a historical data point. It reports after the fact.
Like accounting.
So, correct. It can't tell you what it is in the future.
What are the commonly accepted overbought and oversold levels for RSI, and how do you use these levels to make trading decisions?
So there are no common levels, because some people say 75 is overbought, some people say that 80 is overbought. Yeah. My rule set, which I teach inside the Money Tribe, is non-high impact news days between 85 and 90 is overbought. On high impact news days where there's more volume in the market, I say 95 and over. Bear in mind, it can't run past 100, right? So 95, the stopping level where it can't go past in terms of RSI levels is 100, right?
Okay.
And you can't go past 0. So on my overbought ranges on non-high impact news days, I'm trading off 85 to 90 as overbought. On high impact news days, 95, right? If I'm looking at oversold, I'm looking at non-high impact days at 15 and below, so 15 to 10, and then on high impact news days, 5 and below. Those are my ranges.
Is this for gold only? Because I know there's different
any
pairs.
market.
It's for any market. Okay. How can traders incorporate RSI divergences into their trading strategies?
You've got to be very careful with RSI divergence. So I pay very close attention to RSI divergence. RSI divergence happens when, let's say, you've had a market running up, it's come down a little bit, it's run back up again. What you had is you had a divergence on price. You've had this gap. Some ICT traders will call that a fair value gap, a liquidity gap, but it's got a gap, right? And so often when you have that divergence, what the thinking is that it will continue to make that divergence and a very big move in that direction, right? So if you had a bull market, it's had a bearish divergence and come back up to bullish, chances are it's saying, hey, next move might very potentially be a very big bearish divergence, right? You cannot trade divergence on its own. And you've got to be very careful trading off divergence and using divergence as an absolute in terms of confirmations for trade. I would use divergence rather than a reason to take the trade than a reason not to take the trade. So as an example, if I'm trading up and I do see bearish divergence coming on the RSI, chances are I won't take that trade. So I don't use it for a confirmation to take the trade. I actually use it more often than not as a confirmation not to take the trade, because everything's telling me the market's moving higher, right? But there's divergence. That for me is a warning signal.
Are there any limitations to using the RSI indicator in Forex trading?
I don't think you should be trading without RSI. So that's the first thing I want to say. I think RSI is probably the most accurate representation of what is currently happening in the market, although it is a historical marker. I think it is the quickest way to understand where the market is moving in terms of its directionality. There's a lot of other things you need to combine with it for it to be very, very appropriate. But I think RSI should be incorporated into every element of your trading. I don't think you should trade without RSI. I personally will never take a trade without looking at RSI. That's how important it is to me.
What is the difference between RSI and moving averages?
It's a very similar thing. Moving averages are literally going to give you a very similar pattern to what you're going to see on your RSI. The difference is that your moving averages are a historical representation of price, and your RSI is a historical representation of not just price, but also order flow and volume in the market, right?
So RSI is better because it's got everything.
Well, RSI combined with moving averages is the way to make trades.
Okay.
In my opinion, right? I know there's a lot of other traders who trade different things, and especially if you don't trade a physical commodity like gold, there are other things. If you're trading indexes, you might not look at it as aggressively, but specifically for things where there's a finite supply of the item being traded, I want to know and understand volume, and I want to understand it relative to pricing. So, if I see RSI down and I see pricing up, then I know there's opportunity, right? Either one or two things is going to happen. Either the price has to come down or the RSI has to go up. And more likely than in most cases, what you're going to find is that the price follows the RSI. Because ultimately, price needs to follow volume.
How do you know all this?
Because I spend 12 hours a day looking at the charts. Because I spend every moment obsessing about the live data.
Because you actually have to understand, again, economics.
And that's why I say a lot of these traders who just try and trade only on rule sets, and I'm a rule-based trader.
But you have a
But I
fundamental
understand
understanding.
why the rules are there,
Yes.
right? So it's like telling somebody, turn left when the robot goes green.
Unless there's a one-way street, then you're like, okay.
Unless it's a one-way street. You need to be able to interpret and think.
Commonly asked question, what time frames do you use?
So I generally trade the 5-minute window. That's generally where I'm happy. Having said that, I always look at my higher time frames. I never look at the 1 minute. You have no idea. There's no consistency in it. It's like you'll turn yourself bipolar looking at the 1 minute chart.
Okay, I get it. It's got no value to add because as soon as you make a decision, it's doing something
Correct.
else. Okay, this makes sense. Do people use that 1 minute?
Some people do. Some people.
Maybe for scalping.
Some people very successfully trade the 1 minute chart. It's not for me. I do want to add, this is not trading advice. This is purely my input based on my personal trading journey.
You've taken prop firm challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me just start with this. Are prop firm challenges for people that give up easily?
You have to be persistent. You have to be prepared to fail and lose money and figure out how to trade according to their rules. And just because you can trade does not mean you'll pass a prop firm challenge.
Why do people bother doing prop firm challenges if that's the case?
Well, I think there's two kinds of people who take a prop firm challenge. One who genuinely believes that they can trade prop firms.
Okay.
And they will pursue it with everything they have because they're good traders. And I think there's other people who see it as a quick, easy way to get money. So I pay $400, I do a prop firm challenge, and if I pass, there's potentially $50,000 in funding. That if I just make 10% a month, that's $50,000 profit potentially for me to get a share of, right? $5,000 for me to get a share of, right? And so I think there are two kinds of people. I think those who don't have money and are trying to leverage the prop firms, and then those who genuinely understand that they're good traders like myself, who I'm going to take as many prop firm challenges as I can and just keep plugging in capital into the back end of my master trading account. Because if I continue to trade my $100 account and I continue to make my 10, 15, 20, 30% a month, if I'm making 30% on 100,000, I'm making 30% on $1 million, or I'm making 30% on 10 million, it's the same fucking trade that I'm taking in my $100 account.
But also you're mastering your craft, because I believe there are certain rules that they give you to work within.
Well, I personally say that if you want to be a trader, you should at least pass a prop firm challenge. I don't believe you're going to be a good trader long term if you cannot pass a prop firm challenge. And the reason why I say this is it requires discipline, it requires following rules, and it requires creating a trading plan to pass that challenge. And so most traders coming into the market don't even have a trading plan. They take an amount of capital and they want to make money on it. But what is the trading plan? What is your maximum lot sizing? What is your drawdown percentages? What are you looking to gain? What is your trading plan? What are you going to do when shit goes south? How do you pull your account back? I mean, it's unfathomable to me that people are going to blow accounts and not go look at their trading strategy and their trading plan and realize, well, I fucked up. I need a new plan.
Are there any downsides to trading with a prop firm?
Definitely. You might not get paid. There are prop firms out there who run out of money.
Okay.
There are prop firms out there you could work for a whole month, get to the end of the month and they're out of business. There's prop firms out there that you could trade for an entire month, and based on a technicality, they'll say to you, you didn't read all the rules, and so consequently, based on rule number 7.5 subsec 3, we are denying your payout.
So has that ever happened to you?
No.
How do you prevent that? Like,
most people taking a prop firm challenge don't even read the rules, don't read the terms and conditions. When they sign up and do their KYC onboarding documentation after passing a challenge, don't even read the terms of service.
that must be a long document, though.
Of course it is. You need to read it. I'll give you a tip. Take that document, put it in ChatGPT 4 and say, summarize it for me.
That is so smart. How did you get so smart? Do you just like little machine slaves doing things for you?
I like slaves, period.
I know, because I make you a lot of sandwiches. Which sites or apps do you use for your fundamental analysis?
Investing.com,
Okay.
FX Street. I also use a lot of Google Finance, and then just generally the web. And if I do have data that I download from like the central banks and other big institutions like, you know, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, I'll take that and put it in ChatGPT and say summarize.
If I'm an emotionally mature person in real life, in my personal life, and I have emotional...
Are we doing fantasy right now?
I have a high EQ, so I am actually not... I'm not talking about myself, but I'm giving you a hypothetical situation.
You are very, very, very emotionally secure, yeah?
Okay. I mean, if I have a high EQ and I've got self-discipline emotionally, do you think I would be good at holding and controlling my emotions during trading? Does that equal the same thing?
Having good emotional control is different to having good financial emotional control. I mean, you may be able to handle the emotions of people incredibly well, but not the emotions of money.
There are people that trade like a personal account, then a prop firm account, but sometimes it happens on the same day, like at the same time.
Yeah, so I do that.
I know you are the some people I'm talking about.
Okay. I mean, fundamentally, I trade a master account and I mirror that out to my key accounts. But like, there is a financial institution's money who I trade, who I cannot plug into my mirror trading because they only allow me to make 18% per month. Anything after that, I can no longer trade. And sometimes I hit that in, 2 days, sometimes it's 10 days. I actually find more comfort in trading multiple accounts at once than trading one account. I find trading one account very stressful because there's only one set of numbers to look at. When I'm managing multiple accounts, it takes the emotion away for me.
I'd like to stop you here and also tell you, this is how I feel about having children. I find having more than one child
right?
more comforting than just having one child.
Yeah, because one child is fucking annoying. It's irritating. It needs you all the time. It's demanding. There's no way to, like, the other children can play with each other, right? I feel the same way about trading multiple accounts. I feel when I'm trading multiple accounts, I feel like I feel less stressed. It's like a mental massage for me.
Do you feel that you respect your stuff less the more money you make? I'm just curious. I'm not saying you do. want to ask that question?
No?
No. Okay.
Why would I respect my stuff less?
Because you can buy another one. Like, it's fine if I drop that hard drive because I'll get another one.
I get where you're coming from. So, unless you're a nerd who doesn't understand the value of putting a very specific intent into the universe watches everything I do. If I do bad, that karma will come back to me. If I don't look after what I have, the universe won't give me more. That is part of my underlying belief system, whether I have money or don't have money. That's why I don't respect people who get a lot of money and still treat their houses like shit and throw trash out the front door and the back door. That's why I don't respect people who drive a nice car and it constantly looks like shit. Because to me, that is in conflict with everything I believe. Take care of what you have and the universe will give you more.
If someone doesn't know if they are speaking to you or a scammer because your profiles look exactly the same, how would they go and check that they are speaking to you?
Just use your brain. It's not me, right? Thank you for appreciating my contents. Just use your brain, okay?
No, come on, guys.
I'm not Nigerian, number one. Number two, I will never message you first. I've got shit to do with my life, and messaging you is not one of them, right?
Correct.
Thirdly, and most importantly, just fucking look at the profile, right? You'll see it's not me by the number of follows. And finally, go to moneytribe21.com, scroll to the bottom and see where it says my only official profiles. Click on it and you'll be on my official profile.
You should have started with that because that's actually the answer I want.
Because I know, but I want people to use their brain. To the guy who was so offended by my red Ferrari and my cigar smoking, I'm officially bringing another Ferrari into my life. And I'm officially smoking cigars in it, and I'm officially sending you a message. Find your balls and stop being a beta male and stop being pissed off about your life. Stop hating on other people for their success. Just because you failed at life doesn't mean that somebody else cheated to get there. So use your bloody brain.
Thank you for joining us. Please remember to share, like, drop a comment if you've got a question. If not, and we're in Money Tribe, maybe directly message myself or Justin with your question. And remember to share the video, and we will see you next time.
I have a gift for you.
You have a gift for me? Please tell me something nice.
I had to wrap it in this very uncreative wrapping. You cannot read out what's on there, though, by the way. But I just wanted to say thank you.
That's my favorite.
For everything that you do for us and everything you do for the Money Tribe community. A lot of people don't read it out. A lot of people don't realize how much work you put in behind the scenes. And I am where I am because of you. And I am here because you drive everything behind the community. And I just want to tell you, I love you, I respect you, and I appreciate you.
This is such a nice present. Is it because you were shouting at me yesterday?
You were shouting at yourself.
No.
I wanted to say thank you.
But can I also get a Christmas present still? Or is this my Christmas present?
No, that's a thank you present.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Thank you, babe.